Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode on the Life Signatures Radio. It's episode number 1537. We're going strong. These episodes are always about purpose, productivity, and resilience, and everything in between. That's why you find us discussing a myriad range of topics that are related to those three. Every single waking day, God has given us the grace and the ability and the capacity and the passion and the content to be able to deliver this. So as you're listening, if it's making any sense to you, it's inspiring you in any way, it's challenging you in any way, please do make a point to share with at least 5 people so that this virtual incubator of purpose, productivity, and resilience can help as many as possible. The rule of thumb is this: if anything helps you, chances are they can help somebody else. And you know what? It is free of charge. The only thing you're going to spend here is your data and your time, and worthwhile time actually. My prayer is that this time, this 15 minutes you're spending here is worth your while. If not, please let me know so that I can stop doing this. Otherwise, share as much as you can. Today we're going to continue talking about why we should stop bashing the education system of the day. You want to stay tuned to this one.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Yesterday in the episode, we really went on a tangent and we started talking about why we should not blame the education system because it is not living in a silo. It is not alone. It is interconnected in the cycle of life itself, in the whole ecosystem of life. It's not standing alone. Every time where there is an education system, there is an agenda. Every place where there's an education system, there is an agenda. We talked about that. They are a very strong, powerful supporting casts. So you cannot start blaming the education system alone. It is being propped up by very many things. And let's start examining some of the things we say about the education system. In the first episode, we actually said this, that you will notice that the most people who are bashing the education system have been educated through it enough to know what to bash. And yesterday, what did I say? I say that it is delivering as per agenda. The agenda of the education system has been set and it is delivering according to that agenda. So you cannot give it another agenda and let the system remain the way it is and then blame it for not delivering another agenda when the society has been set up for the first agenda. I don't think I'm confusing you. One of the things we say about the education system is that it is outdated. Let me just talk about that today and then we call it a day. We say that it is outdated. Maybe we'll talk about that again tomorrow. Outdated. What do you mean outdated? How can it be outdated? Aren't you the ones who are using it? How can it be outdated? Who outdated it? Are you getting what I'm saying? In other words, we are living in a society that has changed and we're having the same system. We have not changed it and we're blaming it. The society still expects it to deliver the way it was set up. You find people complaining that the curriculums being used today were designed for the industrial age, and it's true. They argue then that the motive of education was to equip people to be employed, and it's true. When people get educated and there are fewer jobs, the education systems were blamed. Well, first off, no education system anywhere in the world tells us to be educated so that we can get a job. We're just being educated. And yesterday I asked you, what's the? I said there's a thin line between indoctrination and education. It is not the education system to blame for that kind of thinking, that education equals a job. It is the cultures. It is the cultures of the day that we form that make expectations of the education system. We still expect the education system to give us jobs. I went onto my social media the other day and I posted something and someone was arguing with me. You know what I posted? I said, have you noticed that every place where there is an education system, there are jobless people in their multitudes? And someone came up and said, oh, it's not jobs, it's investments and all that stuff. Listen, the word jobless has been created by the expectation of jobs after being educated. That's it. Otherwise, my mentor Mike Maddox says, don't tell me you can't find something to do. I can come into your house and from the get-go I can notice 37 things that can be fixed and that can be done. And every time, every one of those things represents a job. It is our expectation, it is our culture. We are saying that it's outdated. It is the culture we have set up, we have propped up that particular culture that is feeding into it. It is not the education system to blame for the kind of thinking that we're having. You find people complaining that the curriculums are old. It is the culture. It is our expectation from that education system. We need to notice one thing, friends, ladies and gentlemen, that education is not an end, but the culture of the day has set education to have an end. And you're thinking the education is endless because I'm going to go for PhD. After PhD, what? You stop learning? You know why? Because we have set up this system that has ends. There's an end of primary school. Then there's an end of secondary school. There's an end of high school. Then there's an end of university or college. There has got to change this idea that education ends. It starts and then it ends. It starts somewhere and it ends. The formality of it all. And that's why it's interesting to find that people who have finished their education. How can you finish education? People who have finished their education and they have been given papers and they have graduated, they are not interested in learning anymore. In fact, this education system itself, the way it's delivering as per requested. So much so. But the problem is society doesn't want to continue to learn because the society expects that learning must come to an end, and the end must be a graduation gown and a graduation ceremony and being conferred with degrees. And this learning must equal qualification for a job. What we fail to understand is that the education system is not the end in itself, neither is it attaining its echelons of a reward of itself. What the education systems are doing is to cross-pollinate you and to basically give you the seeds. The wherewithal, the seeds, where to begin. The seeds that you are to use as a human being to make things happen is to enlighten you, to open up your eyes. The earliest time you're illuminated, you're able to read, that's a seed enough. But society has a different expectation for you. Even though you are exuding some potential for something, society doesn't care. Society wants you to continue with the education, so-called education system. Don't blame it, because it's going to give what it's expected to do, and it's always giving what it's expected to do. Blame society's expectations. That's what I'm saying. Blame society's expectations for that. People point at Steve Jobs, Peter J. Daniels, Tony Robbins, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, among others, and say that these people excelled without the education system. This is wrong on all levels, brothers and sisters. They excelled because of the education system. They are just guys who took it as a seed and they applied it to the maximum. Peter J. Daniels did not have a degree, and they call him uneducable by the education system itself. Why? Because it was delivering as per set. But he taught himself economics, commerce, history, mathematics. He read over 1,000 biographies. How in the world could he have done that without the education system that he went through initially that called him uneducable? How in the world could he have, could all the other visionaries mentioned like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, how could they have made their pursuits without having any semblance of seeds of the education system? They came out of it. Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, I can nearly bet that there will be no Facebook, there will be no Apple, there will be no Microsoft, there will be no Google, there will be no Date with Destiny, which is a Tony Robbins program, if there was no education system to fuel them, or at least give them the necessary seeds to get started. You can take that to the bank. When it comes to the education system, it is about how we use the system, not how you want to be rewarded by it. So stop blaming it. It's given you seeds. Some seeds that you can be able to use. If you want to blame the education system, first of all, change its agenda. And then blame it if it doesn't deliver. But as of now, it is delivering as per agenda. I'll keep saying that until we come to the close of this series. Tomorrow we do something else, but until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.